Lorraine Robertson, we are live!
Colin Manford, we are live again.
We should reference that. This is take 2 of the live. So some of you will still be watching. We had a slight, I say we had a slight tech issue. Facebook wasn't our friend for a little bit. So anyway, we are back.
We've got beef with Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Unless he wants to sponsor the show, Mark.
Then we love him. We love you.
Welcome to come onto the show.
Mark, you all right, Mark? How you doing, mate?
I'm on first names basis with Mark. So welcome to the show. This is officially episode 1, the pilot episode, if you will.
Pilot. Well, I like that with the plane.
Exactly. You see what I did there, Lorraine?
I do. I'd like to think I'm in control.
You are in control.
Navigator will go nowhere. Oh, my God.
You're in control of the cockpit.
Anyway, moving on. Right, so...
I'm not even sorry as well. I'm not even sorry.
Take out the word pit, and we've got our co-host.
There we go.
Anyway, moving on. Right, let's get on with this, because time's passing this evening.
Plain comedy, in a nutshell. Let's talk about it very quickly. We did the announcement last week, if you watched it. For those who didn't, plain comedy, I am a comedian. Lorraine is a travel agent. And we thought, what would happen if our two worlds collided?
Yeah.
And this
Not a good thing in travel, normally.
No, this is true. The word collide should never happen.
No. But in comedy, it's fine.
So we thought, let's explore these options. We've got this podcast. We work very well together. We worked on another project on Facebook. That was, and that story will be told in time.
In the past. So, yeah, we decided, let's sit down, do something together, and what happens. And Colin told me this story about when he went out to Croatia to do a gig. And I was like, who goes to Croatia to watch comedy? And he's like, no, this is to the locals. And I was like, really? So we were talking about this story and everything. And I was like, I didn't even know travel. I obviously knew about travel in New York. Not travel, sorry. I did it again. I said that last week as well, didn't I? It's just obsessed. I know about comedy in New York and LA and all that kind of stuff. It's like obvious because there's huge comedy scenes out there that we know about. But I never knew in Europe especially, you know, I was like, who's doing that? And then you told me about one of your friends who you were out there with.
Yes, which we will bring him into play very, very shortly. Yeah. So plain comedy, the long-term goal, the golden egg.
The golden egg.
The golden egg is we would like to one day travel the globe, experiencing comedy in as many countries as possible, experiencing the culture, document it, and see how far we can go with this.
But I want to introduce my world of travel to you.
Yes.
And then you want to introduce your world of comedy in my world of travel.
Yes.
And see how let's see Colin in 5-star and see how he copes.
Yeah.
Silver service.
Excuse me, sir.
You don't get it wrapped in a restaurant there anyway.
So that's the plan, that's the goal. But until then, obviously with COVID restrictions, we are in the studio. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to do some challenges. We're going to just... do that. So anyway, let's move on. You mentioned Croatia.
I did.
Which brings us nicely onto our first guest. You've got I'll let you do the introduction because I know you're working hard on it.
I've worked very hard on this guest. I've gone in on you, Martin. I'm really sorry. I'm very organised, me. Colin's more crazy.
Oh, Martin's here.
How did that happen? So Colin told me about you when I was saying like our worlds collide and stuff, and he's saying, oh, Martin, famous comedian, travels the world doing gigs. And I was like, cool, that sounds really good. So he said, I can get him for the show. And I was like, even better. The first thing I said to him was, will he be here? Hello, COVID. Yeah, obviously, because you've been at home now for more than a year now. So I kind of had a look on what you do and where you've been around the world. And obviously it got my kind of travel juices going. Watch that. Eyes, yeah. And kind of looked at different things you do and things. And so you guys first met. We didn't first meet, but you did your first gigs in Croatia, didn't you?
Yes, we did the gig in Croatia, if you remember. And it was stunning because when we intro this story, it's like a joke in itself, isn't it? We're an Englishman, an Irishman, and Marcus Ryan is an Australian. So we've gone to this, we've booked Mirth Control. I just won't talk about them. But they booked us to go out there, didn't they? And we did this tour of...
How long ago was it?
It's about, it must be a decade.
Easy.
Between 8 and 10 years.
Must have been.
Definitely not 9.
Yeah.
It was 8 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So I remember getting out there. I don't know if you did the same. We was picked up by the tour manager who was a Croatian.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, thought we were playing to expats or English people on holiday or whatever, which is what you normally do.
That's what I'd assume, yeah.
And I remember the tour manager going, no, you're playing to Croatians. So we had 4 nights in Croatia and 1 night in Slovenia, who had just been awarded the capital of culture. And I remember going to the tour manager, so what's the crack here though? Like, what's their English like? Because I'm English. We've got an Irishman, we've got an Australian. He went, oh, their English is very good. they learnt the English from watching British sitcoms online, like Only Fools and Horses and stuff.
Right, okay.
And I was still like, really? And we got out there. I was the compere. Martin was headlining. But it was brilliant, wasn't it? Like their English, it was right because they loved.
Well, because they got British TV, but they couldn't afford to dub it, so they didn't. It wasn't dubbed, so it wasn't dubbed into Croatian. It had subtitles, but it was in English.
Yeah,
so yes, they've been watching that their whole lives.
I was telling Lorraine as well, though, like every other joke you were getting a round of applause, and English audiences, you got to work hard.
Yeah.
Unless you're a musical act. But
do you remember? I remember the moment where. So you're always nervous at those gigs. That what do they understand? So if I say, so I was eating a Mars bar, or do they have Mars bars in that country? Or they? And I remember when American acts used to come here at first to the comedy scene, they'd do their joke about Twinkie bars, and the audience wouldn't laugh because nobody knew what it was. But I remember you said something. You were on stage. Were you going to tell this back, or shall
no, go on.
Colin's on stage. Colin's on stage, and he goes, "So hello, we've come from the United Kingdom." He's been really talking a lot about something. Does everybody speak English? And somebody went, "You plonker!" and somebody shouted you because they'd watched Only Fools and Horses.
I recorded that, and so that became a thing every night. We'd get the phones out and go, right, I want you all to call me a plonker, and it was like, and the atmosphere. So. You know, we gigged on a boat, a nightclub, a student bar.
But we just drove every day. So we drove every day. So we're in this country that we never thought we'd do comedy in.
Yeah.
Let's go and look at stuff. We got up in the morning, we drove every day. And the thing was, I don't know if you remember this, Colin. So I'm vegetarian. At the time I was vegetarian. And I don't do well with dairy. So I was basically on a vegan diet. In Croatia, so initially, that's a disaster, an absolute disaster. We would stop for a sandwich at a service station. These guys would get an egg sandwich or something. I would get a cheese sandwich, throw the cheese away, and make a crisp butty. But then it turned good because the organisers were so kind. They would phone ahead to a local comedy fan in the town we were going to, and somebody's mum would make me a dinner. And these guys would get dinner at the gig, and I'd get a homemade Croatian veggie dinner brought to me, but from somebody's mum.
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal.
I think I'm going to love the comedy scene.
Well, I think with Croatia as well, it was beautiful. And the only downside, because what Martin said there, the only reason we were constantly driving was the logistics were all wrong. So let's say if it was in England, it's the equivalent of doing a gig in Newcastle, and then going down to Essex, and then going up to Edinburgh, to Manchester. It was just.
I booked my own diary. That's exactly what my circuit is like. Edinburgh, Essex.
It's just so that's why. And then I remember the last night we crossed over to Slovenia. It was a big outdoor gig, wasn't it? About 300 Slovenians, and
your confidence is up at this point. Everyone's like having a good time.
We're having a great time.
Yeah,
well, brilliant. Because we're all mates and we're having a great time, and
you're well fed.
And well fed.
Yeah, happy days.
And because the gigs are going well and everyone's doing well, the adrenaline and the atmosphere is fantastic. And we go to Slovenia, we've got a new tour manager, and I go, what's the English like over here? Because in Croatia, and I said the story, and I still remember him going, same. That's what he said to me, same. And right, wasn't.
Oh right.
To be fair to them, the English they got was amazing, but when they didn't, you just had 300 Slovenians.
Oh, is that when you're like, call me a plonker? Come on, call me a plonker.
Call me a plonker. They're like, what's a plonker? And I'm sure. Did you? I remember there was a young kid on the front row, and someone left to go to the toilet, walked across your stage, and it was everyone about it was like, what? This is crazy.
But fun.
It was amazing. Fun.
Well, was it in a castle or something?
Yeah,
something like a castle.
Sponsored by Spa as well, like in Slovenia. It's. But anyway, so
there's a spa. We could just from my travel days. There's a spa everywhere. They get everywhere.
You can get bread for 47p and stuff like that. It's fantastic.
Someone's been to spa, haven't they? I want to kind of talk to you, Martin, though, a bit more about. Obviously, you've travelled really well, but you've actually broke world records, haven't you, on your travels?
Yes, so it was 2016.
Yep.
And I was I was in Australia, and I got a text, and it said I was doing festivals in Australia. Got text said, do you want to go and do a show at Mount Everest Base Camp?
Yeah.
And I said, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Did you? That's what I would say.
I thought it was somebody taking the piss. I just said, fuck off. And then they got back to me again, and I was just ignoring it. And I was with an Australian comedian called Mickey D. Mickey D's an ultra-marathon runner.
Yeah.
I was helping him on an event that he was doing, and he said, did you get a joke text about... and I went, yeah, I did. I got that text. Who's taking the piss? Who's doing it? It was one of our mates. It was genuine. They were going to do, for charity, for Save the Children, group of people, 4 comedians, all the kit, all the audience, break the world record for the highest altitude comedy show, hike up to Mount Everest, 8-day hike, up to Everest Base Camp, right beside the helipad, live comedy show. And so we got to do, what a backdrop, an unbelievable backdrop.
And what was the time frame from that text to doing it? I'm thinking about your training.
It wasn't so far. It was something like 6 weeks.
Wow.
Something like 6 weeks later. And as it happened, it was just by pure luck. He trained for an ultramarathon, so he was fit.
Yeah.
I was training for a different thing. I was the standby for across the Atlantic rowing team.
Wow.
And I couldn't commit to go on it, but I trained as if something goes wrong, maybe I get shot at this. I couldn't make the commitment to the training. So I was training for an endurance thing anyway. So we were both kind of fit. And then we got there. It's so beautiful, but you don't even, the Himalayas, you
can't say no to something like that. You can't. So when you got there, you're doing your gig, which is amazing. The people that are there watching, did they know that's what they were coming for?
So everybody that's there, so it's a bit funny because at Everest Base Camp, everybody is really committed to what they're about to do.
That's what they're doing, They
don't want just hikers turning up. They don't want just anybody turning up. Because you bring the cold or the flu or something comes into there, they don't want that because they've trained for years to do this. There's climb the mountain.
There's big money involved. If people are there for charity and things like that,
huge money. So they knew we were coming. We had permission to be there, and they were flyered the night before.
Oh wow!
So there was probably like 100 or so people in an audience, lots of climbers, and then lots of Sherpers. Got the weirdest heckle I've ever had in 35 years of doing shows. Yeah. The heckle was, I'm on stage and a yak train walked straight through the audience and in front of the stage.
That would be like that hen do you did a couple of years ago.
The exact same. It was the exact same. That was in Leeds though, not the Himalayas. So. In a Tiger nightclub. Unless them yaks were drinking Jaeger bombs 3 for a fiver.
So how did you cope with the altitude? Because I've experienced. I went to Colombia a few years ago to do a trek in the jungle, which was no altitude, but we flew into Bogota going home, and the plane doors opened. Out we walking around the city, and the altitude sickness just hit me. And I didn't have a clue what was going on. I was like, I was on all fours by the time we were getting back on the plane. It was horrible. And I remember thinking at that point, I will never, ever attempt Everest because I can't go through this. So how did you find that? Because not everybody, I know that, but...
Yeah, not everybody gets a fight, but I really liked that. It was really interesting. And is that thing that we were talking like this? If we were talking like this, once we'd got to altitude, we would be as out of breath as if you'd just done a sprint.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And then the weird thing with me was when I got on stage, I said to the audience, I said, there's two schools of thought. I could slow down, try and make my air work, or I can go fast. And I fall over. And when I fall over, that's when you clap your hands because it's over. And I wasn't out of breath on stage. And then the moment I walked off, I was out of breath again.
Wow, so crazy. I think that's like, adrenaline or something.
Yeah, the adrenaline. That's what's I think it's going to sound really cheesy now, but I think stand-up comedy for me can be very magical like that. The adrenaline kicks in and suddenly all this, whatever you're thinking or you're feeling, I've never done that. I've never had to deal with altitude or out of breath. But the one thing why I'm saying it's magical is I remember... a few years ago, I used to have a pub and stuff, and I remember going through this bout of anxiety. Like I couldn't shake it. It was crippling me, and absolutely we'll touch on mental health in another episode and stuff. But for me, anxiety got to me to a point where I thought I can't go on stage anymore. And it was in the middle of like my marriage had ended, and I was a mess. To a point where I didn't think I'd go on stage, and then I had to go on stage this one night because the compere dropped out. It was one of my gigs. I thought, right, okay, let's do it. Right up until my name was announced, I was like sweating and I was shaking. And I got on stage and got that first laugh. Just went. And then a week later, I remember doing the Frog and Bucket, a charity gig. And I'd been depressed and I was down and I was just a mess again. And I got on stage, and for them, like 2-3 hours, I was me again. I was like, that's when I really realised I've always loved doing stand-up comedy. Yeah. But it just became this thing of it is me though. It's a part of me now, and I'm on that stage.
So and that's addictive, that feeling. But that adrenaline thing, I think a lot of stand-ups even don't realise that we're living in the adrenaline on stage. I tell you a story. So about 4 years ago, me and my friend Rob went and climbed Mont Blanc. And what we did was a couple of days before, we hired a very accomplished climber called Lolo. and she took us and she did some training with us, and then Mont Blanc was just like, we're just a run up Mont Blanc, and
Just
we
like
did.
a run up.
It's not really climbing
Yeah.
on Mont Blanc. It's very little that you use your hands, and we got nice weather. It was really easy, really nice. But in the training, we did some climbing that was well out of my comfort zone, like miles out of my comfort zone, terrifying. We got to the top of this thing called Mount Terre Blanche, and my friend Rob, who is a good climber, they were at the top. I climbed up and I was literally shaking with adrenaline. They were laughing at me. She said, in French, we call this, and she said the expression in French, she says, it translates as, you're putting the sugar on your strawberries. I was so shaken. And I was like that. We're really, exhilarated. And I'm really, literally like that. And I go, yeah, but look at this. And I stopped it. Because I just put my head on that I was on
just
stage,
learned to
and I just
control it.
turned off.
Yeah.
She nearly fell off the mountain. She
Wow.
never seen anything like it. But it's our job, isn't it? We're living, we're controlling the adrenaline.
Once you're up there, it's a
Well,
different thing,
I've
it is.
got a bit of an adrenaline challenge for Colin.
Huh.
Because you've gone and achieved something amazing. You've been to Everest, you've done this gig that's now a world record. I went to a Colombian jungle, I trekked it.
Colin's done a hen night in Tiger in Leeds.
True. That's more
I
dangerous.
had a glass thrown at me, so
Right.
He's really survived it, actually. However, I'd like...
this wasn't in the production ring.
The guys behind there know all about it. I'd like to try and break a world record.
Yes.
While we're on here.
With Colin.
With Colin.
Okay.
Does he look like a record breaker?
He
Would
does.
Roy Castle be proud of him? Please tell me you know who Roy
I know
Castle
Roy
is.
Castle
Right,
is,
that's all
yeah.
right then, good.
I know Roy Castle is.
I read
I am
that
a young whippersnapper.
there's a lady called Leah, I'm going to read it, Shutt-Keever, who, don't read my notes, on the 21st of October last year, during lockdown, someone was bored, broke a world record, eating.
I'm so nervous.
Eating. It's easy. It's your favourite thing. One of these.
Oh, easy.
Terry's chocolate. Oh,
Easy.
wait. Don't get cocky, Manford. Don't get cocky. She ate it, the whole thing, in 57.14 seconds.
Wow.
And I know you like chocolate orange, but it's not just eating it.
Right.
You've got to unwrap it. Out the wrap. That's me done. That's like a minute and a half for me anyway. And you've got to do that and you've got to try. What do you reckon? You up for it?
We're live, so yeah.
Why didn't I get it right? Come on, let's get this done. Let me set the clock.
How are you going to do it? How are you going to approach it?
I think we've got to smash it.
I reckon quarter it. Quarter
So I've got to
at a time.
take it out of the package.
Yeah.
Eat it. Am I allowed to drink?
Yeah, you can have water.
Some water. Okay. I'm just going to clear it with the guys behind the camera. Is this a sturdy table?
We'll find out
We'll
together.
find out. Is that?
Yeah.
We've never had anyone
Smash an orange on it.
chocolate orange world record.
So do you want to you got your stopwatch out?
What are you planning on doing?
Right. Can we just say this is the mascot for the show? It's a rat.
Highway rat.
It's a highway rat.
More to be
Nice.
explained in time.
Right,
Come on, let's clear the decks. Come on, let's get this done. Come on, Manford.
Okay.
Let's make the Manford name famous for something else.
This water here.
Are you scared?
Fucking nervous.
Are you? It's only a bit of chocolate.
Yeah, but it's a world record attempt.
Mate, don't puke. You've got your nice T-shirt on. Do not.
And don't puke this way.
So
Right,
we're doing
come on.
this camera here.
Is it this
right.
one? Yeah.
So my name is Colin
Let me
Manford.
move my bottle.
This is my world record attempt.
Let me just verify that it's a genuine sealed box of a.
I thought he was going to sniff it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it seems. I'd say that's legit. Oh, look, since 1932. You wouldn't have thought chocolate oranges were as old as that, would you?
Yeah.
It's not best
There you
before
go.
though, is it?
You'd be right.
It doesn't matter. You're going to throw it up, so it's fine. Right, you ready? Right, tell me when you're ready.
Just count me in.
Maybe have a
50
drink first.
57.14 is the record by a girl. Come on.
Don't be sexist.
Hey,
It's
but that's-
2021,
it's
yeah.
2021.
Plus, girls,
I'm trying to rile him,
girls know
come
how
on.
to swallow more. Better than me. That's not the correct use of the
That's
English
just
language,
in the
and I am very
things
sorry. Right,
you
ready? Let's do
watch.
this then.
Let's do it. Right, let's go for it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, Colin. Come on, mate. Oh, wasn't expecting that. Wasn't it? What? He's just going to split
I'm
the
only
atom.
at 10
Even
seconds.
Okay, let's go.
There we
Let's
go.
go.
There we
Right,
go.
we
There
smashed
we
it. Smashed it up.
Right,
Okay.
it's not even open
Let's
and we're
go.
now on
Right.
15
Okay.
seconds. Oh, I can't watch this. I'll be sick. I'll be
Okay,
sick.
good. It looks good. Keep going, mate.
Come on, Colin.
Come on.
Oh! Come on, Colin!
Don't be sick.
Go on, keep going, mate. Keep going. Come on.
Come on, you've only got
Go down.
27 seconds
Look,
left.
look, if you're not going to do it, go down fighting. At least get half of it in your mouth. Come on, keep putting it in, Colin. Come on, babe. For God's sake, get that in you. Come on. Come on, Colin. You can do this. Come on. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Go on, Colin. Go on. If you want to be the best, if you want to beat the rest, dedication's what you need. Go on, Colin. You can do it. Colin. Keep getting in there. Get it in. Get it in, Colin. Yes, you're there. Look.
Right, well, you've not
no,
broke the
don't
record, but
tell him that. Let's keep him going.
Let's keep going, Colin.
Come on, Colin. Look. Colin.
The noises are disgusting.
Colin, the bad news is you haven't broke the record, but you've retained your dignity.
Are you giving up?
Go on, mate.
He's
Don't
crying.
give up.
Why are
Never
you crying?
give up.
Don't cry.
Don't give up, Colin. Keep going. Go on, Colin. Great. That's it, mate. Keep going. Just keep
Come on,
going.
Col.
That's it, Colin.
That is you've got to swallow some of it at some point, mate.
Go on, mate.
Keep me cheap.
Do you remember, Colin? Remember that hen night in Tiger that weren't laughing at you? They're laughing at you now, mate.
Yeah. Who's
You've
laughing
won them
now?
over. Go
Who's
on.
laughing now?
Go on. Keep going. Keep going.
Come on, Colin.
Go on,
You're only
Colin.
nearly a minute over the world record here.
Are you?
Say that again, mate.
Are you going to do this every week? I think you should do the chocolate orange
Oh,
every week.
definitely. 100%. Don't put water in there because you're going to
Go on,
spit it
Colin.
out.
Oh,
I'm feeling a bit nervous.
dear. It's getting it. It's going
That
slightly
way.
on. Keep going.
That
Keep
way.
going. Do you know what? If this podcast is not a massive success after this, there is no justice.
If Colin's alive after this.
Just tell me what you're talking about.
Keep going, mate. Just keep going.
Oh, I can talk a bit.
Yes, you can kind of talk.
Oh, Colin, you've made my year.
How's the timings?
Oh, he's on about
We're doing
17
great.
and a
Come on,
half
Colin.
minutes. Come on.
Come on, Colin.
2.5 minutes. Leah's crapping herself right now that you're going to break this record. Just so you know, she actually broke her own world record by 10 seconds during
Wow.
lockdown. 10 seconds,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh.
Colin's 10 minutes in.
Do you know the funny thing is when you know Colin? So I don't know if the people at home know Colin, but I've known Colin for a long time, and that boy has put quite a lot of chocolate away in his time. You'd have thought you'd have trained for
Yes.
this.
I mean, some people ask me what's the true difference between me and Jason. He's not fucking feeling sorry for himself in the middle of cheating while doing this.
Is that the last two bits? Might as well get them crumbs.
Do we not
mate.
want that
You might
little
as well do the
flaky bit?
crumbs
Go
as
on.
well.
And the box.
Well, I think it's safe to say you didn't break that world record. Were we officially stopped?
No.
No.
Oh, God, here we go.
It has to
this
be swallowed,
This
doesn't
has
it?
backfired really a little bit. There's the
Oh,
adrenaline.
there's the adrenaline.
There it is. Can you control it?
Sugar and strawberry.
Make a note of it when it's all over.
Okay.
And I'll beat it. They're only £1 at B&M.
Why are you crying about it?
The first bit, that bitch in the fucking world record, right? She made it look so fucking easy.
Have you watched her do it?
Yeah, that's why I started smashing the shit, right?
Yeah, because the reason I
Well-
picked it, he was being cocky about it the other
Right.
week
And how did she do it?
with a big mouth.
Did she smash it up and like Colin
Yeah.
did?
You all right, Col?
No.
Is it gone yet? Can I stop it? Oh, I don't have the water. This is
Colin,
not...
that's nearly 3,000 calories. You're going to be up all night.
Are you done? Can we stop it? Right, we're going to stop it.
Quality.
So I've got to beat 4 minutes 15 next week.
0.44. Let me just write that down because I think it's an important
It's
number.
progress, isn't it?
How do you feel? How's it feel?
Horrible.
Does it?
Does it?
It's like I've eaten diabetes. Horrible.
it
I
hurting?
can feel it here. I'm full in my chest.
Well, Martin, you
Yeah.
didn't think that'd happen today, did
That's
you?
quality.
So is there anywhere you've not been that you'd like to go and gig, just while Colin composes
Yeah, okay.
himself?
Yeah, there is. So I would like to go anywhere that I haven't been already. That sounds interesting. So literally what I do now is gigs come in, pre-COVID, gigs would come in and people say, do you want to come do my gig? And for example, got offered a gig in Dubai.
Nice.
I've been there about 20 times.
Right, okay.
Wasn't that excited.
We'll just ignore Colin
Got
in the
offered a gig in Antwerp. Never
Yeah.
actually been to Antwerp. Went to Antwerp for a fraction of the money. Had a brilliant time.
Did you?
Had absolutely brilliant. So, I'll go anywhere.
When
Go
you're
anywhere I
there
haven't been.
doing a gig, because obviously you're going for that reason, do you try and take time in while you're there then and go, right, I'm going to day either side? I'm really good when I travel at getting round, because when you're a travel agent and you go on what they call fam trips, like familiarisation, you've got to live, 3 days in Antigua. So and you're like, I'm going to Antigua, but then you've got to try and see it all in 3 days. So you literally learn to just run round and see somewhere. Do you do that, or do you ever actually go, no, I'm going to stop enjoy.
So sometimes you have to do that
Yeah.
because a gig comes in, you've got your diary booked. Somebody goes, "Do you want to come to Antwerp?" And you go, "Yeah, but I can only go for the 2 days
Yeah.
of the thing." Ideal world, what I do is I try to book it. I book time off. So I did a little tour of Asia
Yeah.
a while pre-COVID,
nice.
and I got a week in Mongolia. So I was doing a gig in Mongolia,
Cool.
had a week off in Mongolia, and the great thing is you meet the local acts.
Yeah.
And they always know somebody. You go, so I like bird watching. So I meet the local acts, and they say, "What do you want to see while you're here?" I go, "I want to see all the tourist stuff. Interested in bird watching." So they go, "Hang on, my uncle is a bird watcher. He'll take you somewhere
wow.
amazing." So you get to go to the
So
best.
it's quite an organic trip then. You kind of get there,
Fantastic.
do what you're doing, and then it just grows.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
How you doing, Colin?
I'm not in a good place, to be honest.
Antwerp's in Belgium, where they make chocolate. They make
Andy,
chocolate
can you do me
there.
a favour? Can you get me just a bottle of water, please?
Can I just say, someone's just had the best suggestion. Have a cup of tea with it next time.
That's not it's the rules.
Oh,
I actually know that world record, but I never thought I'd try it. But
you're regretting it now. Not that I want to look at your lap and that region, but it's full of chocolate spit.
Nice.
Yeah. There's people on here that are not really. Brian Hart said, "I've just joined. What's he scoffing? His dignity."
yeah,
That's
all I wanted to do was impress you. And I feel like I've ruined them chances.
all
now.
I've done is go.
Brown liquid falling out someone's mouth isn't impressing the ladies,
Nice. So, Martin, what have you been doing during lockdown? Because obviously you have your circus act that you've done, Martin Big Pig. See, I've been doing my thing. Yeah. But you said that you've been doing a lot of stuff online. You've obviously adapted the way most people have during COVID with their businesses. So what have you...
Zoom. So I've done hundreds of gigs on Zoom,
Okay.
which is great.
Oh, you enjoy it then? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
no,
good.
I really like it because you don't have to fight the traffic.
Yeah.
And I do it sitting down for the Zoom gigs. If I do circus gigs on Zoom, I just stand up.
Yeah.
I do them sitting down, and it means I'm in my shorts now. I'm at
Yeah.
home sometimes doing my gigs, and I'm just wearing shorts and a nice top. I'm in the house, got a cup of tea. I really like it. I've been teaching on Zoom.
I remember you saying you were teaching and things. How did that come around? Is that just one of them things you thought, got to adapt, got to do something different?
So it's something I've done always, something I've done for years. So like when I go away, I nearly always book in some workshops that I teach. So when I went to that Mongolia, I taught them a comparing workshop because they're a tiny comedy scene and they don't get to see compares. Like I was only, Tom Rhodes had been there, American comedian, and then me. I was the first Irish person that had done comedy there. I was the first European that had gone and done comedy there. So they don't really you don't get to see the compares when you see comedy specials. So they didn't know how to do it. So I taught them a workshop. And then when Zoom came, I thought I'll do this one-to-one stuff. I've got clients. I have a Mongolian client.
Oh dear.
Clients in America, an Egyptian client, Australians. Zoom's you can just do it anywhere.
Do you know, sorry, in terms of because you've obviously gigged everywhere.
This table's
all over
disgusting.
It's
disgusting,
work
this
out,
table.
We'll work it out next time.
Someone said valiant effort.
So with the gigs, how do they come about though? So if you're booked to go abroad, do you fund your own travel or do they cover it as part of the fee you're getting? Do you get paid travel, accommodation? So I know with Croatia, they covered flights and accommodation for us and then we got paid. But I know there's certain gigs where you cover your own flights and you pretty much break even and stuff. So how does it work with a lot of the gigs?
Oh, so it's my job now, isn't it? So I'm not breaking even. I have to make.
Yeah.
It's my job.
So they fly you out there. And,
Yeah.
And they look after you.
So generally, somebody flies you over there. You get put up when you do the gig. You get a fee. You get your fee. And then the only time I pay my own flights is I go to Australia and do their festival season.
Right.
So I fly into Australia. So just before COVID, I did Perth in Western Australia. Then I did the Adelaide Fringe. And then I flew up to the Northern Territories and I got taken out to a remote Aboriginal community and I was teaching the kids circus skills out on an Aboriginal community. That's when lockdown happened.
Oh, so you were in Oz when...
I was in
wow,
so I was one of them repatriated people.
Oh, was you?
I got that repatriation flight. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
All right.
The lockdown happened. Aboriginal communities went first because they're... the elders have health issues. So they locked down first. So I went, okay. I phoned ahead. I was going to go back to Perth, booked a weekend at the club, booked some teaching in a school, flew back down to Perth. By the time I got there, that had all closed. Was supposed to go on a holiday. I'd arranged a camper van to go on holiday. I was going to go to the goldfields. I thought, well, I'll just do it anyway. That closed. The border closed. It was like everything closed down. And then I couldn't go anywhere. And then they shut the flights. And so I just stayed at my mate's house, and I just thought I was going to be there. And then repatriation flight came in through Qatar, and they flew us back to Manchester. And you arrived at Manchester, we'd all been on the plane, arrived at Manchester, it was like nothing was happening. It was like there wasn't any, nobody had masks on, nobody had anything.
When it was crazy with the start of lockdown, I still remember the first, so when it all was just kicking off. And do you know, have you ever just made a stupid statement that you've when you think back, go, how fucking wrong could I have been?
Oh, I made loads of them.
I
won't be in this next year.
Well, my comment was this: I was working in the pub, and it just, I think it was in China at the time. It was getting, the corona's kicking off, and I'm watching it, and when the first case was over in England, and one of my regulars went, "Well, do you reckon, Colin?" And I went, "Do you know what? I don't think it'll be that bad." I remember someone with that tone, and I went, literally a month later, the whole world was brought to its knees.
Yeah.
But literally, do you remember, I was that person, I was all looking out the window. As soon as I saw someone going, "You don't fucking exercise. Who are you? Why are you walking?"
Was you one of them?
No, I literally had the curtain. I became that person. And then if I'd go to Asda, the one-way system, someone didn't follow it. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Do you know, this has been... I'm quite easily pleased if something makes me laugh. Do you know what's made me laugh all the time? You go to the supermarket and you have to wear your mask. So where I live is quite a wee place, so everyone kind of lots of people know each other. I've been really enjoying when I have my mask on and the neighbours go, "Hello, Martin," and I go, "How did you know it was me?" That's been making me laugh every time. We have a Lidl where I live. So that's been like the big treat, going to that middle crazy aisle in Lidl.
Yeah.
So previously, you come into Manchester, you wouldn't bother going to the shops, you didn't care, everything was too easy. Now the middle aisle of Lidl on a Thursday, it's excitement, isn't it?
Speaking of beards, I seen a guy the other day with a mask and a beard capture in it. So he had a mask that came down. I should have asked him.
I think technically that's a
but
snood.
it had the hooks, and it was all, but it looked... I'm going to say it looked ridiculous, if I'm honest.
Beard snood.
Yeah, it looked ridiculous.
Nothing to do with beards ever looks ridiculous.
That's true.
Anything to do with a beard
looks good.
Quite legendary.
How long have you had your beard?
I've had a beard for more than 25 years.
Obviously, it's your image then.
Yeah, and then I became fashionable. Yeah. So exactly the same kind of young guys in the street used to shout, ZZ Top. So we're going back like the 90s or something. You go, ZZ Top. And now exactly the same kind of young guy asks me for grooming tips.
I don't think you want young men asking you for grooming tips.
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
Not...
You're thinking something else.
I want to ask you about the hat, because every image I've seen of you've never wore a hat. But this evening you have.
I am literally near. So look, I commented, didn't I? When I came in, I said to Colin how nice your hair looked. I had lockdown hair, and it was going good. I was getting the sides cut with clippers at home. My hair was looking really good. The only person out of my friends that wasn't complaining about their hair. And just before Boris Johnson announced that lockdown was, the barbers were opening again.
Yep.
So I'm in a circus double act. We do an adult show. I do it with a guy called Logie Logan, Northern Ireland. The adult show's called Dirty Tattooed Circus Bastards.
Okay.
Quite adults, got
Have
knife
a Google.
throwing.
We know children around.
Look it up on Google. There's a show on YouTube. There's one of the shows on YouTube.
Right, okay.
Perfect.
Knife throwing, fire stuff.
Oh, wow.
Martin in lockdown came up with a brilliant idea where, as part of our fire juggling act, I would set my head on fire. So I was going to have my head on fire. So obviously you don't want hair. So I shaved my head. And then we decided it wasn't a good idea.
No.
And so now, after lockdown, I got all the way through lockdown to about 2 Andy Hollingsworth has come to take my photograph at this impromptu moment.
I knew there was a reason why we brought Andy in. We got the photographer on
all the
set.
way through lockdown. My hair was long and was combed back. I was really pleased with my hair. I've got this little grey spot. That is a distinguished looking grey streak when it's longer.
Wow, okay.
And literally, I got the shaved head. Tried to set my head on fire.
Oh, you did it right. Okay.
To be fair, it worked.
Yeah.
It just didn't suit what we were going to do.
So and you dropped it.
And so we decided we can't do it. And to be honest, we could have figured out that we weren't going to do it. I tell you exactly why it didn't work. Because the room that we're thinking of performing it in, it's got quite a low ceiling, and I'm 6'2", and the flame was like a foot, so it was going to hit the ceiling. So we could have figured out that we couldn't have done it anyway. Anyway, it'll grow.
On the scale of 1 to 10, then, do you reckon that should be next week's challenge for Colin?
No, look, he's looking so nice. He's looking so nice.
I mean, I'm up for doing a circus-based challenge, definitely. That's,
okay. Well, maybe you could go and...
I saw a great thing on... a challenge, a Guinness Book of Records challenge with M&Ms. You know, M&Ms, piling them up. the one on top of each
like
other?
a game of Jenga.
Balancing them?
See, I have no patience and I don't like to lose. So I would just...
'Cause that's one of
I
the
think
things.
Colin should have to balance them
Even
and get
with the
world
adrenaline?
record. Yeah, and everyone that falls over, he has to eat it. And then he has to try to balance again. Every time they fall over
Yeah.
before the world record,
a
Colin has
10
to eat another
kilogram bag of M&Ms. You can actually get them printed now with a logo on, so
Playing comedy.
maybe it's
Yeah.
tax deductible.
Well, listen,
isn't it?
I think that does bring us into one chocolate orange for Colin. Did I read that right? Mother trucker. Right, okay. Yeah, subscribe. If thousands of people are subscribing, I'll do that.
Why not pile how high a pile of chocolate oranges can be?
Yeah.
And every time one
He has
falls
to
off,
eat one of
Colin has
them.
to eat it.
And not a segment, an actual
Well, the actual orange.
Yeah.
Out
I wonder
the
what
box.
the record for eating the most chocolate oranges is.
death.
In a
That's the
24-hour
record.
period.
Death. It's just
So,
death.
saying that, for people who did watch that, and if you're not disgusted, if you have got a challenge for
should
me,
be.
because do you know what, Mike? When we was talking about this show and what we would like to do, and before we can go travelling, what kind of funny segments, and we had this challenge segment. It was like segment as well.
And he was
Ugh.
dead excited about
I was
it
like,
at the
challenge
time.
call, challenge Lorraine. She's like, yeah, okay. Like, but when I think back, exactly like that. So I should have known that it was all bullshit. And then it's now quickly become challenge call.
Yeah.
While Lorraine pisses herself laughing in the
Yeah.
corner.
That seems fair.
Or pukes. Yeah.
Oh, puke, yeah.
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 You can't challenge your guest because that's
Exactly.
rude.
It's not fair.
That is
Yeah.
rude.
Yeah.
So what
you
we're
need,
saying-
you need the adult in the room to
Exactly.
control the
See?
situation.
See?
So people who are watching, if you can put challenges through to at Lorraine to it, so she can make a list.
Yeah.
I don't want to know the challenge until I'm doing them.
I'd love them to be work based. I would love Colin to go somewhere and do a manual based job for the day, like a real kind of.
I did labouring once and cried.
Did you?
Yeah, when Jason first started kind of making money, decent money, he's not a drinker or a gambler and stuff, so he started investing in property, right? And my uncle does renovations, so they kind of went into business, so they'd buy houses off auction from council houses, and then at the time, Jason's always been to me, you're fucking lazy, you sometimes, because I was just like, when you first start in stand up, and I'm literally going, I am a comedian, I am not doing a real job. I'm like, I ain't getting paid, so I'm not a comedian. I'm doing. So I remember doing his house in Salford. And my uncle, and we had to just take this fridge out. It was very simple, but the house had been empty for about 9-10 months, and they didn't empty the fridge, and they left meat and eggs in it. And I'm just doing that, and I think my uncle. Anyway, I kind of dropped the fridge a bit, and the door flew open, and the smell hit me in the face. And that was the day Jason was visiting the site. And when we pulled up, I'm sat on the curb outside, just crying with the smell of. And I went, "Why are you making me do this? Why? I mean, there's nothing about me that does manual labour. But if that is a challenge you want to see,
Yeah.
any job, I don't care.
Oh, but think of your wee soft hands.
And I'll look at him.
Oh, I'm up for him embalming someone, all sorts. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Wow.
Be great.
Why would you
Film
say
it.
that while Hayden's behind the camera?
It's Hayden's idea.
I know it was Hayden's idea. I've heard him before. I didn't think you were going to say it.
Just be glad that we're not saying Hayden and embalming Colin in the same sentence.
Can't challenge myself to do that. That's, so anyway, that's it. If you want to get in touch to the page, make sure you direct it all at Lorraine.
Yeah, and we've had loads of responses to. We asked if anyone has any unusual hobbies and things like that because we want to get some enthusiasts on and kind of convert us a little bit into kind of what we don't know. So we've got Star Wars and things like that.
You guys stop it.
Share if you want to embalm Colin.
Right, can I just say, right, I'm going to say this. For next week's show, get a list of all the bullshit and the boring and the painful and whatever that is, and we're going to put a subscribe number on each challenge, yeah?
Right, okay.
So if it's all the little niggly bullshit ones, I don't mind doing them. Chocolate oranges every week, whatever. All the shit that's going to be painful, make me cry, or I'm genuinely going to be scared for, we have to be hitting thousands of subscribers.
Oh, that's what you're doing it for.
I'm not going to
subscribers
embalm a
then.
fucking corpse, right?
I'm glad you said corpse.
For 5 subscribers, right? Because let's face it, I'm not going to sleep for a week. I couldn't even watch The Conjuring without fucking nearly crying. So I'm happy to do it. I'm not
Yeah,
happy to
oh,
do
you
it,
would
so
do
that's
it.
bullshit. But I'm willing to do it. If it's going to get views, because I'm a little whore like that. The entertainer and the ego is there. So there's the deal. There's the deal.
Okay.
So compile a list.
Yeah.
And then by next week's show, I'll put the number of subscribers or likes on the Facebook page I'm willing to do it for.
Okay.
You can't say
You
fairer
should
than
put
that.
like a menu. There should be like a menu. Does Colin get to be sick? We need 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Does Colin bleed? We need
Yeah.
50. Does Colin
Lose a limb.
cry?
Oh, right. No, he's not going there.
That's great. Does Colin die?
Well,
I tell you what.
I'll be famous.
I just live up the road. I could
The
do
list-
this
Yeah,
with you.
Jason will get more people.
Jason
yeah.
could come in and do it.
Yeah,
The list was scary enough, and then I heard it in your voice. And it just really. When you said bleed, say that again.
Does Colin eat a chocolate orange?
Oh God, no! I need to leave now.
Slightly aroused, if I'm honest. Brilliant. Well, the
So-
whole tone of our show has just changed. But we've got lots of hobbies set up. We've got lots of interesting people that have got in touch. We're going to be getting in touch with you all. We're going to come back to you. But yeah, challenge Colin.
It's just an official thing now.
It
so-
is now. Yeah, it's been said.
I'm glad we've
Martin Mor
established
said
that.
it.
Right. Okay.
If Martin Mor said it, he's like comedy royalty.
Moving on. We are going to move on because we are coming up towards the end of the show.
We are.
A couple more things that you wanted to cover.
Well,
Let's not, in fact, because we have done a lot of comedy today, but there is obviously this week in the news, the whole transport secretary caused a bit of aggro in your world.
he did. We've had some bullshit quotes this week. I know I swore, but
Hayden.
I'm allowed to.
She swore.
I did swear. It happened. Bullshit. Right. So, Grant Shapps. Guess what he said this week? I'm going to read it out.
She swore.
What people would have called travel agents in the past.
Oh.
He didn't then say, are now warriors, are now angels, are now the most unrepresented industry in our country. He just then realised he'd fucked up. I know, another one. Yeah.
Fucking mad. How
I was
rude,
fuming because literally every travel agent in the country was literally watching that, going, right, where are we sending people? What are we doing? Because when he says his thing, that's when we know. There's no, people think we're, is there anything, have you heard any whispers? No, that's it. That's when we get it. That's what we know. So we have literally 5 minutes to interpret the whole of the stuff that they don't even know what they're talking about. Who needs what jab? Who needs what test? And it's impossible. The public are amazing. They get this kind of thing. But when the very man called Grant, who hasn't give one grant to anybody in travel, not earned anything for 15 months, hello, living on zero, I might actually eat the scraps. No, I'm only kidding. They do smell nice, though, if I'm honest. But it's rude and it's just disrespectful, really, because we are probably, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, and I'm sorry if I'm disrespecting any industries, but I think we are now probably the only industry that's not been represented of when it's going to come back. We're having all this, the green list, the amber, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing right now. It's just utter bullshit, and it's hard work, and there are people out there that have been working for the past 15 months. Lockdown started earlier for us than it did for everyone else, because I had lots of people in Australia, people that are like you you were relaxed about it. You're like, this is cool, I'll go and do what I'm doing. I had an elderly client out there who was in her 80s, and she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, do you know what? We're in this together, but I'll stay with you.
People were freaking out, right?
Yeah.
So I knew acts that were out there that were European acts that were spending thousands on flights, but then the flights would then get cancelled.
Yeah.
They got a credit note, and then they bought another flight, and people were emptying their bank accounts, and now they've got all these credit notes that they can't use.
Well, it's that fear factor.
Well, some of those travel companies don't exist anymore, so that credit note is like just floating around.
It's like a Debenhams voucher, isn't it?
yeah. But like all the Qatar and all that, thank God for them, because they just got people, and they were amazing with my client. They got her home and they looked after her. But same experience as you. Walked back into Manchester. The UK is just like, crack on, everyone. We'll figure it out as we go along. And it still feels like they're kind of doing that. Everyone's been getting jabbed, and it's brilliant, and we've been offered. And I don't think anyone can criticise the government in that sense. It's been amazing. But the rest of the world hasn't caught up with that. So they're announcing these countries that they're not where we are, and they're not letting us in. So it's okay saying we can go there.
So it's us as well, but isn't that? So that's some of the countries. It's because people have come from here.
Definitely. That's why it's worth pointing out, isn't it? If we have a platform like this, it's only because I know Lorraine now. I'm
He knows how poor I am.
but I wouldn't know the kind of the value originally of an independent travel agent as opposed to a corporation, and then knowing Lorraine. So Lorraine's actually not stopped working for 15 months or whatever, but for no money as well as finding money.
The travel industry now joke, maybe this is what he meant, we are now volunteers in our own profession because we work for nothing. But it's a genuine, like you guys, it's in you. It's just a passion. You love it. You want to move people around the world. And, when we were talking before about where you've been and what you've done, it's just the best conversation ever.
Well, here, tell us this. Where would you go if that you haven't been? If it opened up tomorrow, and
It's
we
the
could go,
hardest
where would you go?
question, this. It's the hardest question. I love the idea of I've got a little boy, 7, and we've been away. We've done, the Spains, all that kind of stuff. But I really, really want to take him to Vietnam.
Right.
And do the whole homestays and meeting other people. I just want him to know that this world is not your postcode and a resort.
Well, let's go, because I've toured Vietnam, stand up, so I know at least two gigs that would give me and Colin a gig.
Yes.
So why don't we
is
go
it all
to
right to bring
Vietnam?
my son on this, though, with these kind of gigs?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll test it out.
Do you know what? It's so funny there, because I toured Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah.
And they're very respectful to older men. Young men are very respectful, so they call you uncle.
Yeah.
And so there's a young guy called Valtina. He's going to be my support act, a young Cambodian guy. And he spoke perfect English, but he was very gentle English. You wouldn't have placed him where he was from. And he'd been a comedy fan, and he was going to do a stand-up set, and it was hilarious because we toured around. He was really nice. He's always going, "Do you want a cup of tea, uncle? Do you want this?" He's very gently spoken. He's influenced by American comedy, and he told me he liked American comedy. Great. So I go to watch him on his first night. He's doing a support act. He walks on stage. "Yeah, motherfucker!" He's literally like a black American comedian. "Yeah, motherfuckers!"
That's got to be on YouTube.
But yeah, so if your 7-year-old can handle that kind of thing.
I'm his mother,
He would love it.
No,
He
I
would
am
love
so
it.
Disney
Right.
at home, you wouldn't even think I've got that in me to swear. I turn around and be like, "But all right, darling, yeah, we'll do it now." Yeah, I'm that mother. But yeah,
Well, that sounds like a plan then. So
That would be
Vietnam, I
great.
would love to do Vietnam.
Vietnam,
Yeah.
Why don't you guys
just-
pick countries?
Yeah.
And then when the flight's about, you arrange good flights.
Yeah.
And I'll
And when you say good,
I'll-
you're not talking business here,
I'll get us
right?
the
That'd be
gigs. I know
amazing.
the gigs.
Oh, there we go.
We'll
So
do the gigs.
Martin is our
So
golden
Martin
egg.
is the official tour manager of the.
Then you
we'll
can
the
do
gigs.
a challenge and something. There'll be like a chocolate
Yeah.
egg version, a Vietnamese chocolate egg. There'll be something like that. That sounds really dodgy.
I'm
doesn't
looking
it?
forward to the Thailand one. Challenge Colin. What is it?
So, on one hand, it's great that we're going to go travelling.
Me and Martin are going to have a great
He's gonna be
time.
brilliant.
Yeah, we're going to have a brilliant
Sure you are.
time.
So-
Yeah, you may not
It
survive.
sounds like wow. Fucking hell! If it wasn't,
If the likes are
if the
there.
Irish guy didn't scare me, it's the girl from Oldham. Jesus Christ. So we'll start wrapping up the show now.
think we should.
So. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. We've recruited Martin
Yep.
to join us on our travels
Welcome
as
to the
well. So
team.
we'll take in the culture clearly challenge. I'm going to end up with a tattoo on my face like in The Hangover.
We'll
I
get you a
imagine.
gastric band because you're going to need it by the time all these challenges have done.
Gosh, it's like being to take a break. Innit?
If we film that might get some likes.
Listen,
Colin getting a gastric band.
I've told you. Get the list together and I'll work out the numbers.
We'll figure it. We'll figure it.
Everything's got a price, is what we're saying right now.
All I'm getting is Colin looks mortified.
Right, yeah, it was a good idea.
It does.
this
Right,
show.
let's wrap it up.
So we are going to wrap up. So,
Yeah.
Martin, you got gigs coming up?
I have got gigs coming up. Funny enough,
Yeah.
it's strange that it feels
It's weird to
that
say
they're
it,
coming
isn't it?
back
Things
in.
are
Got gigs
happening.
all over. Got gigs next weekend in Derby, Ruffle Comedy Club.
Oh, I
Okay,
love
cool.
in
Yeah.
Derby.
Have you done that one yet?
No, it's new one to me.
Well, I did it when it first opened.
Right.
Because Lee Jones is great. He's a great promoter. And I'll give a shout out to Lee, and I hope he watches this, so we'll tag him in it. So Lee Jones, during lockdown, when everyone else was kind of panicking and just, are the gigs going to come back and bars were struggling, he bought more.
Oh dear.
Ready for when we
Yeah.
open. He just pumps it all into comedy.
Well, I don't know how he did this because he booked me for these gigs in all his clubs last year.
Oh wow.
So he was spot on.
Is he like the Nostradamus of
I
the
don't know how he
comedy
So
done
world?
it.
Lee
It's coming
actually,
back.
his background, he's a boxer. He's won belts all
Yeah,
over the
proper
world and
boxer.
stuff. And then the money he's kind of made from boxing, I imagine, I don't know that, but he's kind of the one in. So he's the one. I don't know if I've ever told you. He ran a gig in Newcastle under Lyme, so just for Stoke, in an abandoned post office.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And I loved it. You kind of you'd miss it if you didn't know where you were looking, and you'd go in. Every week he did it. It was such a hidden gem, and he built it, and suddenly he had this purpose-built one in like a shopping centre bar in Stoke, and then he's opened Derby and
Preston.
Preston.
Oh, wow.
I think there's a fourth
Sheffield.
one. So good luck, Lee. I will be in touch.
Yeah.
But he runs great gigs as well.
Fantastic.
So
So if anybody's
So when's that?
so it's going to be next Friday and Saturday.
Okay,
So
cool.
not this coming weekend.
It's crazy to think that we're
No,
going
no.
out next week.
Well, I'm out on
16.
Monday.
So weird.
Yeah, you've got
so
3
weird.
gigs.
As soon, the Tuesday the bars
Tuesday,
can't
yeah.
open. So
So if anybody that's watching this, so we'll give your man a shout out, Lee, because
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
doing
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
and we want to
definitely.
support
Hats
this
off
stuff.
to him,
So,
yeah. So, yes.
anybody that's in the Derby area,
Yeah.
come and see me, and I'll do a special offer if you shout out a country. I'll tell you a joke about it. If they like this, they might like that. So
That's
I'll do a bespoke joke for whatever country you want to
bespoke
do.
Love that.
joke.
So let's do that then.
Bespoke joke,
I like that
love
actually.
it.
Any promoters watching or comedians, if you want anything plugging, do get in touch.
Yeah,
We'd like to kind of
definitely.
help everyone kind of get back off the ground. Martin, social medias, do you want to plug in? You want all of them?
Yeah, so, I think so. Yeah, so I do Twitter. I'm on Twitter and the
Which
kind
app?
of stuff on Twitter is more adult stuff. Like
Yeah.
for example, I got blocked by Donald Trump from winding him up before he was even the president.
Oh, really?
So I've on Twitter kind of winding up.
Oh, nice.
What are they called? Nazis. Winding up
Okay,
Nazis.
yeah, well, you know,
And then
the fair
Facebook
game, really.
general stuff. I've got at the minute. I'm running the thing Trick a Day May. I've
Yeah,
got
I've been
on.
watching
Seen
that.
that's really
I
good.
do
Yeah, I like
different
that.
circusy,
Yeah.
stupid trick every day, and then Instagram. I think I get to put Martin Mor.
So Martin Mor on
Google.
all the socials, you can do that, and you got a website as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a
We'll put it
website
in
account.
as well. We'll go back.
So we'll
in
link
these
that. So we'll start wrapping up. Martin, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
Thanks for
being
having
our
me.
thank you.
first
It's
guest.
been
We look
brilliant.
forward to travelling with you as well.
Wouldn't that be great?
This is
Yeah.
going to be amazing. I'm on the socials as Colin Manford. We have Collective Travel.
We do.
Travel, Lorraine Robinson.
Yes.
So book your holidays after you've got your jabs and all that.
Obvs, yeah.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up. So thanks for watching our first ever show.
Yeah.
Do head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the page, share it with your friends. That would be great. And apart from that, we'll start saying goodbye. So thanks for watching.
Yeah.
I was Colin Manford, nearly sick. Goodbye.
I still am Lorraine Robinson. Goodbye.